Hey everyone, and welcome to the Anarchy Day Trading Podcast. Hope you guys have had an awesome day trading week. This is the second time we've tried to record this episode. Jordan and I, Jordan records early in the morning. He's in Colorado. I'm on
4:30
the
in the
East
morning.
Coast. It's 4:30 in the morning right now for him. It's only like 6:30 for me. Yesterday, I couldn't get my setup working. Today, I slept through my alarm because my phone was dead. It's been a whole thing, and the poor guy's been sitting up at 4:30 in the morning just waiting to record this episode. So listen up and be grateful for him, just so he feels less like he's wasting his time. We actually have a good episode, really good episode that I'm excited about today because this is an answer to a question that we got on our Discord, Jordan, that's been doing really well. It's been popping off. A lot of you guys have been joining. We'll leave the link in the description. Join us. It's been a lot of fun. We help kind of keep each other accountable and stuff like that, and kind of it's a place to ask questions, and it's been a lot of fun. So anyway, Jordan, we got a question. I'll throw this to you, let you kind of talk about it and read it, and you have some thoughts about it.
Thanks for that, Levi. And yes, it's an early morning, but there's no better way to start your day than doing a podcast, working out, and as some people like to say, once you've accomplished one or two things in the morning, it's a lot easier to accomplish more things. So it's a great way to start your day. Even though this time change this last week has kicked my butt. When you hop in your car to go to the gym and it says 3:55 because you haven't changed it manually to 4:55. It's a wake up call. It's like, oh, it's so early. But anyways, yes. So let's get into the questions, guys. Again, we've got the Discord channel. You can ask questions in there. You can post your trade journals. It's great. I've been really enjoying interacting with you guys. Just in case you're wondering, my Discord handle in there is Fish Skillet. Don't ask why. It's a whole story, but maybe I'll share it on another podcast. But for today, just want to let's get in right into the story or right into the question from Wolf, who writes from Sandusky, Michigan. I'm sorry, that's a throwback to a childhood movie. If you can place the movie, there may be a prize. It says trading psychology and how trading exposes deeper mental patterns. Is what he wants to talk about. I recently realized that trading brings out psychological habits that are already embedded in your brain, and they show up when you make decisions under pressure. One example is negative self-talk. I was listening to someone explain how negative internal dialogue can directly affect trading decisions like hesitation, revenge trading, or not trusting your setup. They also explained that a lot of those voices are not really yours, but things people told you earlier in life that become embedded beliefs over time. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic and whether you have had similar experiences with negative self-talk or other mental patterns and habits that have affected your trading decisions. It would be interesting to hear how you recognize those patterns and what helped you manage or overcome them. Oh man, great question. And I think it really dives into the true psychology of trading. And what I mean by that is, listen, trading is, when you get into trading, you think it's all about the charts, the indicators, the strategy. But as you start to trade, you start to become, I would say, enlightened, maybe disconcerted. I know I certainly did become disconcerted that trading is not about the charts, indicators, and strategy. Honestly, that's a very small part of it. It is truly about psychology and being able to learn how to conquer the beast, which in this case is yourself. You are your biggest worst enemy, and I think this Discord channel is kind of like puts a spotlight on that, right? Because it's all about accountability. It's all about following rules, and it's amazing that you can come in with all of these rules, all of these good intentions, and then you sit down in front of your computer, and next thing you know, you're 9, 10, 15 trades and $400,000 in the hole. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. And you sit back at the end of your trading session, you go, what in the world happened? That's what we want to discuss, because that is an interesting phenomenon that I think we all experience to some extent every day, even traders who have figured out how to overcome those.
Yeah, by the way, that whenever you say "conquer the beast," I always think of that song that would play when we when we
I
were bull
know.
riding back
When
in the
we were
day.
bull riding.
Conquer the beast. Jordan and I used to bull ride for a couple summers. We weren't very good at it. Jordan was much better than I was, but yeah, actually Jordan was talented at it. If you'd stuck with it, you probably could have been good. We were a little bit
Yeah, I
big,
went
I
to a
think.
couple rodeos, but when I
But
went to a rodeo and there was a guy in a full body cast and another guy sitting next to him in a halo, um, I decided I didn't want to end up like that.
yeah, it is like you can get hurt really easy. In fact, you get hurt during the best of times. The best case scenario is
It's
you get
not
thrown
about
off a
if you will
bull.
get hurt.
So
It is simply when you will get hurt.
yeah. So this is it's a great topic because day trading is one of the few professions where your personality is directly linked to your P and your profit and loss, right? Your P and L. So trading doesn't create problems. It doesn't really create psychological problems. It just exposes them, right? And so we all have problems that you're going to have to address. And this is a trading is a really powerful tool for exposing those because again, there's it's really easy for problems to stay under the surface during regular life, right? For instance, you don't realize you have problems until there's a stressor that exposes them. It doesn't mean there was never a problem. So, for instance, you could think you're not an angry person until you get behind the wheel of a car and then somebody cuts you off and then you're like, oh, I actually was always an angry person. I just didn't have somebody cutting me off, right? You could think you're an unselfish angel until you get married and someone else is living in your same house and you go, oh, I was always a selfish person. I just was living by myself and there was never a time where that was stressed. There was never a time where I had to. The great part about both of those situations is you now have an opportunity to get better. So there are some attributes that we've talked about, Jordan, that lend themselves that don't lend themselves just selves to trading. And so we oftentimes discourage those people, I think. Um people who are, people who have a ton of fear about about losing money. Like there are attributes that don't lend themselves to trading. That said, you can grow. You can grow in certain areas, but trading exposes what those are. It exposes it exposes a lot of things about that even other people have taught you. And I think Wolf, the guy who wrote this question, wrote this in there that there's a lot of thoughts that aren't even necessarily originally your own, like you're bad with money, you're impulsive, you're a coward, right? These all, if you believe them, they all come in and start playing a role in your trading. If you think you're afraid, maybe you maybe you act afraid, or maybe you overcompensate the other way, and you're trying to be brave in the market even though you're afraid in real life. Um, these things start really affecting you downstream, um, and and you don't even notice them until you've already lost money.
Let me give you so let's give some practical examples, right? I think the number one fear, at least that I've had, is, hey, I'm just not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, right? Like that is I think one of the fears I personally have had, because it's like, hey, you sit down, you trade, maybe you feel good for a couple trades, but then you lose two, three, four, five, six, seven trades in a row, and you go, man, I suck. Or, hey, I'm just not smart enough for this, or I can't figure out. Like, that's negative self talk. Like, we've talked about it before. Pretty much anyone can learn to trade. We believe that. Not everyone should trade, but everyone can learn to trade if they could, figure out how to get out of their own way. Which I think that's what we're talking about today. But that big one is, hey, I'm not good enough. And so when you when you trade, even if you know you have a system, you can go, man, I suck at this. I'm done. That's why 99% of traders quit before 2 years. Don't quote me on that, but I would say it's pretty close. I think there is a stat that says it's like 95 or something, but I think it's higher. But most traders end up quitting after 2 years, and that is because they don't think they're good enough. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in their system, and it negatively impacts how they trade. Now, let's get practical. Levi and I were just talking about this actually. I think we've gotten a little too theoretical in our trading podcast recently where we've been getting a little out there. Let's bring it back to home. In theory, okay, you don't feel like you're good enough. How can you practically implement some changes in your trading on a day-to-day basis that's going to help you overcome that? Well, for me, it was two things. One, journaling my feelings during those trades. So after the trading day, I would trade not only my trading journal saying, here's my trade. Did it follow my rules? Did it follow my general plan of trading? Great. But then I would also trade, how did I feel during that trading day? Did I feel like I was good enough? Did I feel like I was afraid? Journal those feelings. And that was number one. Number two was having a trading coach. Having a coach to be able to talk through things and actually go, hey, well, here's what worked, here what didn't work. This isn't about you. This is about market. And this is why understanding and even writing it down, like understanding what we talked about last week with variability, a volatility, the fact that a probability, like statistics, understanding that, hey, listen, I think all of us have like done the whole let's flip a penny, see how many times we can hit heads in a row. All of us have hit 3 or 4 heads in a row. I guarantee you. So when you miss 3 or 4 trades, why is that a big shock to you? Why do you let that impact how you think of yourself as a trader? So being able to have like a thing saying, hey, I'm a I am a trader that follows my rules. These are my probabilities. I understand that even if I trade, like for me personally, I know for a fact mathematically that every year I will lose at least 10 trades in a row statistically. That's a pure statistic. And I have to be fine with that. And it's honestly more like 12 to 15 because the percentage of win trades, honestly, winning trades for me is honestly less than 50% right now. It's more like 40, 45. But hey, with my RR, it works. So I'm not complaining. But yeah, I mean, I was in the same boat last week. The fact is, I lost 6 trades in a row last week. Should I have been trading? Well, we had just went in and started bombing the heck out of Iran. Probably not. The market was like during these times of geopolitical unrest. Honestly, I should probably hang out and watch the market for a week before I start trading. But you guys all know me, way too ADD to do that. And so I lost 6 trades in a row, and I was going, "Oh, what happened? I've lost my hedge." Well, 4 days later, and instead of being down 5%, I am up 8%. So like it was a 13% change, right? And so it's fine. You've just got to be able to weather those things. So yeah, journal, get a coach, and maybe put some little mantras on the wall that you can read saying probabilities or statistics or something like that to remind you that it's not just you.
Another one of our Discord listeners had something that was interesting that I actually want to try. I think it was Ugly Hiker. He mentioned he puts a webcam. He or she, I don't know.
Thank you.
That was
Thank you. I
really
was going to say, we got to.
misogynistic of me to assume. I think we're at like 15% of our listeners are women. So I don't know. I assumed Ugly Hiker was a guy. Actually, I think his avatar on Discord is like a bearded man. So maybe it is a guy. I don't remember exactly. I'm sorry, Ugly Hiker. But he mentioned putting he records himself with a webcam, and it's he says pretty funny going back and like watching when he takes a trade because you can visually see like how your body changes sometimes. And if you go into look, we have long lived in caves where neighboring tribes want to kill you and where the animals want to kill you, and so we have developed fight or flight mode, right? And our bodies still act the exact same way. Even now, when you're sitting in front of your computer clicking a mouse, right? We still get their body still acts like it just saw a tiger, right? It goes into fight or flight mode, and you can see it visually. And so I actually want to try that. So interesting, a little piece of advice there. I'm gonna give it a shot to kind of help see, hey, what are you actually doing here? Like, are you going into fight or flight mode? Because you can't think very clearly about that, about your decisions when you are. Now, a lot of that is practice. But a lot of kind of overcoming the fight or flight mode that most people go into when they start day trading and start taking trades and start revenge trading. The reason you revenge trade is because you're in fight or flight mode. You're fighting till the last last drop of blood, right? You think you're about to your body thinks it's about to die. And so it just keeps fighting. You're a fighter, which is actually admirable if you were fighting a tiger, right? If a tiger's trying to kill you, you go down with the shit, man. You just you keep fighting until you either beat the tiger or you're dead. Well, you can't do that now. And so you have to fighting that fight or flight response is something you're going to have to learn to do. And a lot of that is, like you said, kind of externalizing that. That's what journaling does. It's not magic. What journaling does is it just tries to externalize what's inside that often just gets buried under the rug,
It's to
right? It's why
externalize
journaling is
what's
helpful in a
internalized.
okay, Jordan, you know what? Get out of here. um,
Hey, you're the one who said it, man.
yes, it's to externalize what's internal. Sounded like one of these southern pastors that I've heard a lot of. Yes, externalize what's internalized. So anyway, yeah, it's to do that, and it's actually journaling is helpful in a lot of activities where you're trying to change behavior. It's for this exact reason. It's why I'm going to try this webcam stuff because I think that's another interesting way to try to externalize these behaviors that sometimes you don't notice because they're just buried very very deep inside you.
Hey, and one other one I want to touch on. I mean, we're waxing long here today, guys. This is what happens when you get us in the morning. You start asking us questions. We start getting engaged on the Discord. We get all kinds of stuff to talk about. On the opposite side, the fact that I'm not good enough, we can be really good at convincing ourselves that we're amazing. It's another danger. There's two ditches. There's always two ditches, right? One ditch, two ditch. You can be in both sides. The other ditch is that you think that you are amazing. And the problem is when you think you're amazing, you don't know when to stop. So this kind of manifests itself, I think, and correct me guys if you're wrong. We've got a whole podcast discussion channel on Discord. Hop in there. Let me know if you're wrong, if I'm wrong. But I think the fact that you think you're really good or that you convince yourself that you're good or you know what you're doing is the fact that leads to overtrading. So many, I would say the majority of the people that have joined our Discord channel over the past couple months are looking for help with it over trading. I think over trading is the Achilles heel of traders because guess what? If you take 12 trades and you break even, if you broke even, I bet you didn't. But if you did, guess what? You still made zero money for all that work, all that effort, all that turmoil. And for me, take one trade yesterday, bam, done. Did I make more money? Yes. Trading is one of those things, guys, where effort does not correlate with results. In our day-to-day life, that it's the complete
Jordan,
opposite, right?
can I ask you a question? Because
Yes.
is that tied to overconfidence or thinking too much of yourself, or is that the opposite? Because I don't think the
Uh,
majority of beginners think. I think part of over trading might come from a lack of confidence, where you think you'll throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. Where if you're a really
uh,
confident traders go,
okay.
hey,
Okay.
I'm just gonna wait this out. My trade's coming. I know I'm gonna
Okay.
see it. I know I'm gonna hit it. And so I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing it this the opposite direction, but I think I don't know if the average beginner is maybe overconfident because frankly they all lose. Like we all lose when we're beginning traders. I think it might be a lack of confidence in your ability to find the winner coming down the road where you're just like, okay, I'm just going to take a bunch of trades. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. We can ask our people in Discord, see what their thoughts are.
Throw it into our podcast discussion, guys. Do you think it's a relation to overconfidence or underconfidence, or maybe it depends on the person? Because I think sometimes for me it's overconfidence when I was. I mean, I haven't broken my 3 trade rule in forever. But the fact is
Eh.
that when I take more trades, it's because I'm like, well, hey, I know my system. I know my statistics. Statistically, if I take another trade, there's a good chance that I'm going to win it. Well, that's a little self deceiving because let's be honest, we know that after losing two trades in a row, your chances of trading successfully go down. Your mental acuity goes down. So stop deceiving yourself. So maybe it's a personality thing. For me, it's a little bit of overconfidence. When you're a beginner, you're right. But like when I have overtraded, it's because I go, well, I know that on average I'm going to win my next trade. So why wouldn't I take it? Stupid, but that's what I tell myself. So again, being able to realize that, whatever it is, whether it's negative or positive, or thinking too much or thinking too little of yourself. Again, how do you get over that? Set up some strict rules, especially when it just comes to overtrading. Like the easiest one for you, just put rules and don't break them. That's those are just some practical things today that I think would really benefit you guys in trading. Like start journaling. Journal your inner thought process. Videotape yourself, as Levi said, and start looking at that. And that's why come join the Discord. It's a great place for accountability. Great place for you to work through those inner thoughts and have someone that may go, "Hey, man, why are you doing this?" And then you'll have to explain it. And you're like, "Why am I doing that?" It's great. So really appreciate the community and the support of all you guys out there. Been really enjoying it.